the situation may arise where you need to do a bevel cut on an open contour. So in this scenario here, imagine this rectangle is a piece of bar stock and we want to cut the two holes out of here and then do a vertical cut, and then these cuts going through the center of the holes will be at a 45-degree angle, slanting left to right, and we'll be doing this out of some 1/4-inch aluminum. So by default you can't add a bevel cut to a open contour, but in this video I'll show you how you can do that. So what you need to do is just add a rectangle, and I'm going to have my rectangle starting at that end of my open contour cut, and I'm going to drag it down here somewhere. And I'm going beyond the edge of the material, so I've got a little bit of a lead in, lead out here. And then we hit our next button, and I've got my Apex 65 axis programmable Z machine. Since I don't want to necessarily have the height setter coming down in a hole or off the edge of the material, I'm doing aluminum 1/4-inch, and do my open contour cutting for my vertical cuts. So left click, I've got those in my cut sequence here. Hit my next button, top left hand corner, click on the auto button, adds all the vertical cuts on the all the geometries that it finds. We're going to delete the outside cut because we're not going to cut that since we're doing this out of bar stock. Now for the bevel cuts, since these are now closed geometries, I can add a bevel cut to an edge of that, and we're going to do top bevel cuts at 45 degrees, and for the bevel height you want to set this to be either 1/1000th of an inch more or less than the thickness of the material. And for right now, to show you why you want to do that, I'm going to make this the same thickness. My whole contour button right now is not on because I don't want to add a bevel cut to the entire contour. Left click when this edge is highlighted blue, because that's where I want the bevel cut. Left click that in there, and when the material thickness and the bevel height are the same, your vertical cut and your bevel cut are tied together as one tool path, and you can't delete the vertical portion of it. So the workaround for that, as I mentioned, is just to make that bevel height 1/1000th of an inch more or less than the material thickness. I'm just going to add my vertical cut back on here so I can add a bevel cut to that. Expand my bevel tool. Going to make this 249 now. Left click to lock it in. And now over here in my cut sequence, the bevel cut and the vertical cut are separate from each other, so I can delete the vertical cut. And then I can do the same thing on the other one. Left click to lock it in there, and then find that outside lead for that and delete that. Now I can go through and reorder my cut sequence here if I want to. I'm not going to worry about that for right now. I'll just move these ones to the top of the cut sequence so it's easier to see in the CNC file. So bevel cut, and so on. So you can put those whatever sequence you want. Hit the next button. So thing to remember when you're doing a situation like this where you are cutting it out of a blank of material and you don't have a tool path on that, WARDCAM is going to put the 0, point at the furthest extent that it sees tool path in X and Y. So right now the 0 point is here off the material at the edge of this hole here. So you want to make sure that you move that 0 point to wherever the 0 point on your fixture is going to be. So in this case here, it'll be lower left hand corner of our part. Then click on your CNC button. And we'll see here in our file now, we lift up an inch, wrap it over, spin around in A and C to that 45 degrees, wrap it to our pierce point, come down, do the bevel cut, and then at the end it's going to lift up, wrap it over, and come down again to do the other bevel cut, and then go vertical and do all the vertical cutting. Again, you might want to optimize that cut sequence, but that's the basic idea of how you can add bevel cuts to open contours in WARDCAM. If you have any questions, please let us know. Thanks.